In today's video, I'm going to be going over 10 fragrances that smell like they cost a lot more than they actually do. For 10, it's going to go to Blue, Cedar, and Cypress by Cremo. Now this is roughly around $20 found at like Target or Walmart, and it is a stunner of a fragrance here, guys. As you can see, I've worn a fair bit of it. Now the seasons that this should be worn in are going to be fall and in winter. Nothing about it's really warming, but the opening can be a bit sharp. That's why I see it being more suitable for the cold weather months, something that can break through that cold weather. And like I was saying, it smells of high quality and it's very affordable. The opening of this fragrance has a nice bright citrus accord that is kind of followed up almost immediately with a green accord. I believe the listed note in opening this is going to be lemon leaf. While the scent itself doesn't necessarily develop over time, the scent overall is very high quality and does smell like it costs more than $20. Like I said, found for about $20 at Target or Walmart. And if you've been on my channel for a while now, you're well aware this is one of my favorite fragrances in my collection. Again, y'all, that was Blue, Cedar, and Cypress by Cremo. Now getting into number 9, I'm going to kind of explain the difference between a cheap fragrance and a more expensive fragrance. One problem that I've seen with cheaper fragrances is that they don't last a long time. So like the performance, the projection, the longevity is not very great. Not saying that all, pricier fragrances, they all last longer, but it's just one thing that I've seen that has come with the cheaper price tag, is that the performance isn't necessarily the best. Number 9 is going to be one that really does fit that mold. Number 9 is going to be CK1 Shock. Now this could be a great winter fragrance. I just wish it lasted a little bit longer than like 30 seconds on my skin. Fantastic to wear, great scent, but it only lasts like 30 minutes, and it's gone. But luckily it is cheap, so you can just refresh. In this, you have your sweet tobacco. It's going to be one that is going to be really meant for the winter. And for the first 30 minutes, it's going to be super inviting and it's going to smell really nice. And it's definitely going to smell like it costs a lot more than 20 bucks. Again, you guys, number 9 is going to go to CK1 Shock. Now number 8 on this list is not going to come in the form of a spray cologne. It's actually going to come in the form of a solid cologne, which I've tried a few different brands of solid cologne. This just happens to be one that I've kind of enjoyed here recently. The only place that I've worn this really is around my house. I haven't got a chance to wear it to work yet, but one major takeaway from this is that it smells really expensive. It smells a lot like Naxos and By the Fireplace by Maison Margiela combined. This is what I get for this. It's going to be Sterling by Fulton & Rourke. And as you can see here, guys, this is a solid cologne. So take this little guy off here. And there you have the front there. This flips open just like that, clicks into place. You do a little dot there, put that on right there, and there you go. So Fulton & Rourke Sterling is going to have notes of tobacco, vanilla, and leather. This is going to be that seductive, that inviting style kind of scent that I also say is going to be best suited for the winter and fall months. Now in terms of performance, this stuff lasts much longer than any spray cologne that I have. No, this will not project out like a general EDT kind of fragrance, but it does last all day long. Now there are a few things that this smell a lot like Naxos or Pure Havane, but it also reminds me of this, which is Spicy Senorita by Pete & Pedro. Which, guys, this is a candle here, which you'll see here that the same exact notes of Sterling. Well guys, I mean, same thing. It's going to be the same scent of that, except maybe cleaner. And guys, if the Spicy Senorita candle does interest you, I will have a link down in the description if you will pick it up. Using code GeorgiaGent gets you 15% off. Now the next fragrance on this list is going to be much more of a versatile fragrance. It is one that can be worn year round, but I would not really recommend it to anybody to wear in the colder weather. Just because it is a bit bright, it's a bit more summery, warm weather vibe to it. Next on this list is going to go to Abercrombie & Fitch First Instinct Together. Which, guys, you'll see here is a nice blue bottle here, all the way around. You see that there. This is going to be like Invictus here, guys. Invictus is a high-end designer fragrance. This is not quite that high-end. This is going to be roughly around $20 at your local rack store. But it opens with that same bubblegum style vibe with an added note of pineapple. And if I had to pick between this and Invictus, I'll go with this all day long. And this is much more of a smooth fragrance than the Invictus is. The only downside of this is, like I mentioned earlier, does not last quite as long as Invictus does. But it is cheap enough that you can carry it with you and just reapply. Again, y'all, that was Abercrombie & Fitch First Instinct Together. Now, I can't go any further in this list without mentioning things like clones. Clones are fragrances that are created as inspirations of other fragrances. Sometimes brands kind of put stuff out and it just smells a lot like something else, something more expensive, or something that's in the general same genre of fragrances. Those can also be listed as clones, but what I'm talking about today is going to be actually fragrances that are created to be clones of fragrances. Like, for example, what I have here is going to be called Crystal Smash. This is by Alt Fragrances. This brand creates alternative fragrances to the more expensive. For example, this is going to be their blend of Baccarat Rouge 540 and Tom Ford's Lost Cherry. This to me is a great scent. It lasts a long time, it smells nice, and it only costs about 30 bucks. versus the $300 it costs for the Baccarat Rouge 540 or the $200 it costs for the Lost Cherry. They make these available for a significantly cheaper price. And it doesn't smell too bad. I just wish they would fix their atomizer here because they can be a bit finicky. Again, guys, that was Crystal Smash by Alt. But this kind of stands for, in general, a blanket coat of all like clone style fragrances. You can find these clones for a really cheap price here on the internet. And now to kind of steer away from clones, we're gonna go back to the designer style fragrances. Now, like I said, some brands like to copy other brands. Kind of like how Dior put out Dior Sauvage and Chanel put out Bleu de Chanel. Next on this list is gonna go to Versace Dylan Blue, which is gonna be the more affordable option of the three. And it's gonna be a mass appealing designer blue fragrance. Now this is gonna be a year-round fragrance, pretty much one that you can wear anytime. But it is gonna be a lot like Bleu de Chanel, it's gonna be a lot like Dior Sauvage. There's not gonna be a lot of uniqueness to it, but you're gonna smell great. It's not my favorite of blues, but it is very similar to more expensive ones, like Dior Sauvage, like Bleu de Chanel. Hence why it's on this more affordable list. And you can find this for a really cheap price. I think I found this for like 30 bucks. Again, guys, that is Dylan Blue by Versace. Now, next on this list is going to be a fragrance that you can also pick up at stores like CVS or Walmart or Target. This is going to be one of the best fragrance pickups from one of these stores. The highest quality, it is an EDP concentration, American made. There's just so many positives to this brand. Number 4 is going to be Chiron by Duke Cannon. Now, Duke Cannon is a very cool brand, guys. Like, all of this stuff is very high quality, but it's very, very affordable. This is going to have aquatic notes, vetiver, and sandalwood. Like I said, EDP concentration, it'll last all day long. In the air, this smells like a $100 fragrance. This is very cool stuff, and I've been impressed every single time that I've worn it. It's bold, it has a certain kick to it. Honestly, the kick to it kind of reminds me a little bit of my favorite blue fragrance that is Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Intense. This has a similar kind of zab to it, you know? Now, the strong scent bubble from this does kind of dial back some after just a little while wearing it. But for me, this does not fit in line in terms of it being your normal cheapie that is gonna, only last like 30 minutes. This can give me a full 6 to 8 hours of wear, or roughly around 20 bucks. Like I said, it's pretty impressive. Again, guys, that is Duke Cannon Chiron. Now, I can't do a list like this without bringing up some sort of Creed Aventus style clone or inspiration fragrance. The fragrance that I want to talk to you guys about is not necessarily going to be, 100% inspired by. I haven't read anywhere personally that it's been inspired by that, but once you smell it, you're going to get it. You're going to get the similarities in the fragrances here. Number 3 is going to go to Mercedes-Benz for Men. And as you guys can see here, you have the Mercedes-Benz up top there with a decent atomizer on this thing. But like I said, you're going to smell it, you're just going to get it. The difference with the Mercedes-Benz and say Creed Aventus is that the opening is going to be a bit more candy-like. By candy-like, I mean a bit more synthetic and just not quite as natural smelling. And once that opening kind of dials back some, it turns into much more of like a smokier, woodsy style, Creed Aventus interpretation, which I'm kind of okay with. I don't generally like the more, smokier batches of Aventus, but this one's okay. And from my understanding, can be found for less than 40 bucks. And again, guys, number 3 was Mercedes-Benz for Men. Now, number 2 just so happens to be another Creed-inspired kind of fragrance. Again, there's nowhere really that's listed that says that this is inspired by a certain fragrance, but there's a long history between this brand and the Creed brand that kind of, leans toward this possibly being, inspired by, or maybe it's Creed inspired by this, but they're very, very similar. For more info on the beef and the brand stuff, you can go check out George's Fragrance Prince. There's an entire video on clones in terms of, company relations and stuff. But I digress. This fragrance is very similar to Creed Original Santal. Number 2 is going to be Mont Blanc Individual. And guys, what this smells like to me is going to be a fresh, drier sheet. And one thing I hate about this, guys, is how the bottle is shaped. I cannot stand this bottle. Like, I don't like spraying it. It just feels weird in my hand. And the smell is meh. But this will be a great one to wear in the winter. That fresh, drier sheet kind of scent is going to really push through the cold weather. And again, guys, number 2 was Mont Blanc Individual. Now, number 1 is going to smell like a freshly squeezed cup of lemonade. And it's also going to smell a lot like Dior Homme Cologne. It's going to be Jimmy Choo Man Ice. Now, unlike the other bottle here, this one looks a lot like an ice cube, which I kind of like that. My only issue with this is that the cap could be a little better, but come on, this thing costs like 30 bucks and you get a Dior Homme Cologne, pretty much. And like a bunch of these guys, this does not perform the best, but it does smell fantastic. A very citrus heavy fragrance that smells a lot like lemonade. I'm gonna go ahead and actually just do like a clean lemonade, if that makes sense. And guys, again, that was Jimmy Choo Man Ice. And now, guys, that is my list. If you have found this video something informative or entertaining, do not forget to give me a thumbs up down there. Guys, like I always say, keep it gent, love your scent, and I will see you all next time.